What up? What up, world? It's your boy Jaystar back again, man. Okay, so we got the feature showdown for the Thursday night slate. So, or the Thursday slate. Um, like I said, I'm not gonna go over all the other games. I always just do the features, man. I kind of went over some of the notes anyways in the full slate. So y'all kind of know, where to attack some of those other games and things like that. But for this game alone, we're gonna go over as we always do, defensive scheme, how to attack it, so that way we can try to nail the captains to the flex plays to all the way down to even some sleeper options if need be. As well as I go over letting y'all know positional fantasy points, for each team gives up. So both of these teams play a 3-4 defense. Yeah, so that's kind of great. So both of these teams are going to try to attack the middle of the field, basically to open up, some of the run game, things like that, because it ends up backing up the linebacker so that you're able to establish some type of run of 5 yards per carry. Things like that can happen once you back up the linebackers. But first, you need to establish some type of throws towards the middle of the field with your tight ends and your slot receivers and things like that, which can also open up some one-on-ones out wide. But sometimes you don't even need to attack, those out wide receivers and things like that, because, sometimes your best plays is just in the middle of the field. But sometimes some teams already have their best weapons in the middle of the field anyways. Which I would say something like kind of like Minnesota right now, since they're able to move around Jefferson and they have TJ Hawkinson now. So when it comes to fantasy points per position, the pass is only giving up 16.7 fantasy points to quarterback. At running back, they're only giving up 16.4 points. At wide receiver, they're giving up 27.8. At tight end, they're giving up 13. And defense they're giving up 7.6, my bad. And then on kickers, they're giving up 8 points basically to kickers. And then it looks like Vikings are giving up at quarterback 21 fantasy points. At running back, they're giving up 24.6 fantasy points. At wide receiver, they're giving up 40 fantasy points. And at tight end, they're giving up 13 fantasy points as well. At defense, they're only giving up 5.7. And kickers, they're giving up 9.1. Okay, so with all that new, that information there, definitely for, Minnesota side, passes giving up 27.8 to receiver. So if Jefferson was to get all those points, then he would definitely be a captain play. Oh man. Besides that, I think the best play, the highest, most fantasy points I'm looking at is tight end. So I think these two are the best plays, even though we do know Belichick is really good at stopping, your best player and things like that. But they are going to move Jefferson around. So I don't know how Belichick is going to deal with Jefferson when the way he moves around. How is he going to continue to just, make sure they're doubling him still at all times? I feel like he could still get open for a big play. Plus, he's just that great of a receiver, period. So even with double coverage, we've seen him catch on everybody. So it doesn't really matter sometimes. And that's why I think he's still going to be in play. And, it's just all going to be about, is Cousins going to continue to force him to targets in this game? Because then he can still get there. He's just that electrifying a receiver. Besides that, for, flex options besides these two here, 16 points at running back, could be in play. They are at home. And as well as, let's see, if we had to go to Thielen, where's KJ Osborne? Oh, no, that's Bourne. My bad. I didn't mean to click him. There you go. KJ Osborne. And looks like we have 7.6 points to defense and 8 points to kicker. So, kicker Greg Joseph definitely will be in play at flex. As well as I would say the Vikings defense was in play too at flex too. So all these plays are great flex options. I don't think, because it is Belichick, I would say Rieger could be in play too as a sleeper option, because sometimes you kind of got to go to different things that they haven't seen enough film on, because Belichick really studies film very, very well. So they might have to throw to somebody like a Rieger, because I know it'll be KJ Osborne, but he's is an obvious play too. But you kind of usually have to go out, to different receivers that you don't usually go to when you play this team. Of course, tight end is a good spot too to go to as well. But besides that, let's look at the other side of the field here. Definitely, I would say Stevenson, Myers, And I even got to throw in Mac Jones because we're talking about 21 fantasy points to quarterback, 24 fantasy points to running back, 40 points to receiver. They don't really have a tight end, as electrifying as TJ Hawkinson is going to get 9 to 10 targets either. So can't put them in as a captain play here, but definitely they would be in play as a flex option. So when we go to the flex options here, looking at Devontae Parker if he's able to go. Let's see. Let me just make sure I didn't miss nobody at the top here, right? Harris is still an option too as well, but I'm looking for the pass catching options more than just a run option. But Stevenson is definitely that. That's why he's in there. And then I'm looking at, like I said, Jonnu or Henry. Besides that, I don't really think they're going to any of these other targets. Well, he had 3 targets, so Nelson Aguilar and then Bourne. What are you coming off of? 1 to 4 targets, and I know that was a tough game, so they was kind of throwing everywhere. Thornton, did he even get involved? So all these freaking receivers got involved like a little bit. Could be in play too as well. Then and I think that it's probably the lowest I would go though if I was taking a receiver here. I think Thornton would be the lowest I would take a shot at. But besides that, let's see. The Vikings giving up 5.7 in defense, but the kicker would probably be the best play then. So I believe it's Folk. So he would probably be the best play before I even go to some of those other receiver options down there, with Aguilar, Bourne, and Thornton and things like that, because they haven't really been involved for big fantasy points, to be used to. I feel like it would be better to just take Nick Folk. So now that we got all that, I'm just trying to see what would I put together here, because both of these teams got to do the same thing, and it's really about what team you think is going to be able to do it. That's going to have most success at doing it, basically. And it's so hard because Mac Jones, oh my God, he just doesn't show enough. But man, it's so much like, oh man, Minnesota. What I do have noticed about them, they give up a lot of yards. So if he can complete the passes to Myers, especially, we seen him do it to Stevenson, but at receiver is where they're giving up those yards. And I'm just thinking like Jacoby Myers is not in the out wide with Patrick Peterson or was it Dantzler, things like that out wide. He's in the slot, which is the biggest weakness I feel like on Minnesota. So I definitely like Jacoby Myers there. If Jacoby Myers is gonna be in my lineup as captain, I gotta take Mac Jones, and I feel like the next best option is Stevenson, because he's like another slot receiver basically, because he's getting 6 targets, 8 targets. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, definitely feel like he's in play then for a 21 fantasy point day easily. But I think Jacoby Myers maybe outbeats him and gets into a touchdown. On the other side, man, it's so hard not to say take Jefferson, but Belichick is going to try his hardest to stop him, man. And he's coming off of his worst game, so it's like whatever Dallas was able to do, Belichick is going to try to key in and try to do them same things because it worked. So he's in for another tough game, I feel like, but I definitely don't think he's going to be able to stop Hawkinson, because if you're going to leave Hawkinson one-on-one, he's going to beat that. And I'm also trying to think, like, do I want Thielen or do I think I would want KJ Osborne. He's going to have the weakest coverage out there. And I know it leaves me enough to get Thielen easily, which I definitely could take that, but I also just want to look, because Devontae Parker, like I said, this team's given up a lot of fantasy points in the past. What's wrong with Devontae Parker? Okay. So I think I would take a kicker then and leave the money on the table. So let's see. Folk. I think I will take Folk. On the road, Maybe they come short after they catch, maybe a touchdown here, touchdown with Stevenson, and after that they probably kicking their touchdowns after that. And I feel like Minnesota's having a hard time, so they got to go to different things that they, they go to Hawkinson, but they don't go to KJ Osborne enough. So I feel like in this game they probably will have to lean on him a lot more to get down the field and score some touchdowns. So definitely feel like a lineup like this could really win it all. So that's it, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that showdown, man. Edition and everything like that. Man, win that big money, y'all, for real, man. Hit that big money, man. I really hope this helps y'all out. We're keying on the right plays and things like that. Like I said, if you also do want to flip this whole thing, you think Minnesota is going to be able to do well against New England and not have a hard time, definitely Jefferson probably the best captain in on that way of thinking. But if not, tossing in, like I said, the third wide receiver, because that's where usually Belichick doesn't put most of his attention to stopping. So I would say, third wide receiver at captain for Minnesota would be the best way to go, or Hawkinson or something like that. But it's your boy Jaystar, man, and I'm out. Good luck, y'all. Peace.